Hey, what's going on? This is my third video of my 30-day challenge. Glad you all could make it. Today I want to talk about reality as a hologram, as portrayed in the book The Holographic Universe by Michael Tolbert. And what it relates to is how you can see, looking at the universe in a brain cell, as everything. Well, I'm going to first start out by explaining what a hologram is. A hologram has to do with, it's kind of like dropping two pebbles in a pond, and the ripples they make will create the picture. And what they do in holograms is holograms have a unique quality to them, where if you cut them into quarter-shaped pieces, you don't get a quarter part of the whole hologram. You get a quarter-sized picture of the whole. So that's why you see things like the universe in a brain cell looking almost identical on pictures. And it's really interesting because there's a lot of things that can be explained looking at it as reality as a hologram. For example, there's this story Michael Tolbert tells in the book, The Holographic Universe, where, and this is absolutely true, a stage hypnotist, he's doing a trick at some guy's birthday party. I think it was the author's father's birthday party. And it's this guy, Tom, sitting in a chair. Now, the hypnotist does the usual stuff, a potato is an apple and this and that. And then he says, when I wake you up, you're not going to be able to see your daughter. So what he does then is he puts the daughter right in front of him, like standing right in front of him. And the funny thing is the hypnotist wakes him up and he can't see the daughter. He's looking all around the room. It's like, can you see your daughter? No, I don't see her anywhere. So then the hypnotist holds a watch in the small of his daughter's back. He holds it. He doesn't, like, he holds it up like this. He says, can you see what I'm holding right now? And Tom is like, yeah, it's a watch. And then the hypnotist says, can you read the inscription? And he leans in and he reads the inscription like it's a piece of cake. And he still can't see the daughter. And what the hypnotist did there was he removed the hologram of his daughter, he removed the decoding mechanism in Tom's brain. And it's another thing about the nature of reality and how we only see what we decode. And like, for example, the electromagnetic spectrum is 0.005% of what's out there in the world. Invisible light is a tiny fraction of the electromagnetic spectrum. So a lot of people say humans are basically blind. So we only see what's there. We only see what we decode in our brain. And I would argue that everything we perceive is literally what our mind decodes. And this goes to the whole reality being an illusion kind of thing, a holographic universe, like being, it's weird because they say the world is made up of atoms. But if you really research atoms, realize they're 99.99999999999 all the way to infinity percent empty space. They say if the nucleus was the size of a dime, the whole atom will be the size of a cathedral, like huge. So they're really just pockets of energy with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of matter. And it's something like, I forget the analogy, but it's like the amount of matter that's in an atom, the whole human race could fit. I don't know if it was in a teacup or maybe even something smaller. If you took the actual matter in the atom, every atom in the world, the entire amount would fit in a teacup or something small. I can't remember what it was, but it was really interesting because it just goes to show you that the world is only solid because we're decoding it as solid, because atoms are so devoid of matter. So it's really what creates this world is us. Without, one guy said, without the brain, the world is devoid of light, heat, this, that, everything, pretty much, without the brain decoding it. So it's literally like we're living in this virtual reality holographic simulation. And while it is good to realize this, the idea is to go higher than just first to realize that it's a hologram, then to expand your consciousness to the point where, as people would say, you're in this world, but not of it. Like, yes, you're having this experience, your infinite awareness having this experience, but there are infinite other experiences, infinite possibility of what you could experience. There's always infinite dimensions, there's infinite this, infinite that. Everything is infinite. As someone once said, infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. And that is quite a statement. I mean, it's really, as it was a experience that happened on a psychoactive drug for someone. Sure, some of you know who it is. I'm not going to say this person's name, but he's written a lot of books about the nature of reality, what's going on in the world, et cetera, et cetera. But what happened was he saw what he called the dazzling darkness. Same thing described in Proof of Heaven by Eben Pagan, a neurologist who coincidentally, this is so weird. I had brain surgery when I was 16 for a brain cancer that I had. He was the partner of the woman in Boston Children's that did my surgery, 9-hour brain surgery, where they got a piece of my tumor in the pineal gland. It was so bizarre because I happened to be, my mother went to this book signing, which she never goes to, with my grandmother. And the one that she went to was the guy signing the book, Eben Pagan. It was ridiculously synchronistic. It was like, holy crap, I cannot believe that the person that's performed my brain surgery, partner in the practice or whatever they call it at Boston Children's, literally wrote a book about, the kind of stuff that I'm interested in now. I wasn't back then, but like the kind of spiritual and whatever stuff. It was just ridiculous how, because this guy, before he got sick, he was a scientist, he was a surgeon, he was all physical world, tunnel vision, no expanded awareness. But once this happened to him, he was pronounced clinically dead. and like, except life support, his brain was dead. But for some reason, he came back. And I haven't actually read the book, but I've heard excerpts from it, and what he's saying coincides with a lot of my beliefs about the universe and what happens after we die, and et cetera, et cetera. A lot of near-death experiences that I've read about all pretty much have the same theme of we were able to see everything and be everything all at once. There is no distance. There's no there's no limitation. There's no nothing. When we leave this body, we can be anywhere simultaneously. It's really an interesting concept because there is a way to experience this in the body if we do raise our consciousness high enough. And it's seeing beyond the program, beyond the dream world we believe to be real. Because it's not that this world isn't important, of course it is. But from a higher perspective, where we think of this as a temporary experience, and we're infinite consciousness having it, and infinite possibility having it, it really does put things in a much, much, I guess you say, I don't know if to say higher perspective, but a much more centered perspective, because you realize that no matter what happens, as Steve Pavlina says, you're fundamentally safe here. There's nothing that can damage the core of your being. And I've actually read A Course in Miracles to an extent. I read The Disappearance of the Universe, which is based on The Course in Miracles. And that was really another book that not say confirmed, but it coincided with, that kind of stuff. How the world is a hologram, and Jesus was talking about this supposedly in 2,000 years ago, the true teachings of Christ. And all this stuff, and then, other people talked about it too. David Icke talks about it a lot. Max Egan to an extent. Other people, a lot of these shamans and mystics and whatnot, they talk about it. Carlos Castaneda and his shaman Don Juan Matus talk about this kind of stuff. It's just all very interesting that to view yourself as infinite consciousness, just having this holographic experience, because you can see hologram at work in nature and other places. How reflexology is a great example. Reflexology is where like every part of the body is on the foot. Like, it just shows it's like your body's the hologram. Foot is a X size, X over whatever, 1 over X size piece of the hologram. And it has all the parts. And there are people who can see with their hands. It's just, there's all these examples of the holographic universe all around us. And I just think it's very important to take a look at it, to research this kind of stuff, because it very well could change your life and how you view the world. And it's very good to have a more expanded awareness, like rather than the physical world is all there is, and I'm just and things just happen. In a quantum universe, there are no such thing as accidents, as they say. But anyway, I just thought I'd share this today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.